Your grocery bill is about to jump. Not from panic. From pressure already building behind the scenes. 12 canned foods most families buy weekly are facing real supply strain right now. I dug through harvest reports, packaging costs, and cattle numbers. The picture differs from what your shelves show today. By the end, you'll know which 12 to watch, and why waiting even weeks could cost you more. Let's start counting down. Number 12, canned pork. Spam. Vienna sausage. Pulled pork in a can. Smart shoppers don't wait for prices to spike. They add a can every trip, quietly, before the shift hits. Why pork specifically? 5 cost inputs stacked together. Meat, steel cans, processing energy, labor, and fuel. Metal packaging costs alone jump 9 to 15%. Products sitting at $2 to $3 could climb another 15 to 25% within 6 to 12 months. It won't vanish overnight. The sale disappears first. The buy 2 get 1 offer stops showing up. The markdown quietly stops. By the time the shelf price actually moves, the window's already closed. One can deliver 7 to 20 grams of protein, enough calories for a real meal. No thawing, no prep, dinner in 5 minutes. Watch the sodium, and rotate between spam, sausage, and pulled pork. Number 11, canned vegetables and potatoes. $1, maybe $1.50. That low price is exactly the point. These fill the gap when fresh produce gets too expensive to justify. Shelves look full every single day. But the reserve stock held behind them keeps shrinking as fuel and distribution costs rise. The front looks fine. The cushion behind it doesn't. Canned potatoes especially earn their spot, filling, rich in potassium, soup or mash in minutes flat. Quick tip, drain the liquid and rinse for 30 seconds. Cuts the sodium fast. Shelf life runs 2 to 5 years in cool, dry storage. Rotate old cans to the front. Number 10, canned soup. This isn't really an ingredient. It's almost a full meal already. Liquid, protein, vegetables, seasoning, ready in about 5 minutes. Empty fridge, zero energy. 4 cans on the shelf means dinner's handled. But soup depends on a long chain: meat, broth, vegetables, steel, cold storage, transport. When costs build across all of it at once, the product absorbs every bit of the hit. Prepared canned soup prices already rose roughly 22%. And those $2 to $4 cans haven't finished adjusting yet. Stretch it further with rice, pasta, or a can of beans. Feeds more people, same flavor, almost no extra cost. Go low sodium when you can. Stores 2 to 5 years. Number 9, canned broth. Most people walk right past it. But serious pantry builders see it completely differently. Not a recipe extra. A flavor multiplier for everything else in the kitchen. Cook rice in broth instead of water. Instant upgrade, no extra effort. Use it as a soup base and a handful of ingredients suddenly feels layered and rich. 1 carton can quietly improve 5 or 6 meals across a single week. Here's the pricing connection worth understanding. Broth cost ties directly to cattle supply. Fewer animals means pricier bones and byproducts are the source. Add processing energy, packaging, and transport costs, and broth gets squeezed from every direction at once. A standard carton sits at $2 to $5 right now. That range may not hold much longer. Bone broth brings more protein and collagen. Regular broth brings minerals and depth. Neither replaces a meal, but both stretch everything around them further. Go low sodium when possible. Stores 1 to 2 years in stable conditions. 4 items down. 8 left to go. And the next one hides in plain sight, sitting cheap on the shelf while the real pressure builds quietly underneath it. Which item on the list so far surprised you the most? Drop it in the comments. Now let's keep moving. The next 4 hit closer to home than most people expect. Number 8, canned corn. $1.50, maybe less on sale. One of the cheapest things in the store. Most people see it as nothing worth thinking about. But corn is a bridge ingredient. It ties a meal together without adding real cost. Natural carbs, fiber, B vitamins. It stretches a pot of soup or a pan of fried rice further, feeding more people from the same core ingredients. Behind that low price, pressure is building quietly. Crop yields keep swinging with weather. Fertilizer and fuel costs stay elevated. The steel can cost more to produce. No spike yet. But the sale disappears first, not the product. Kids eat it without a fight. Soft, sweet, easy to mix into eggs, pasta, or mashed potatoes. Go no salt added when you can. Shelf life runs 2 to 5 years. No dents, no bulging, rotate consistently. Number 7, canned beans. When costs rise, families don't change where they shop. They change what's in the cart. Ground beef gets skipped. 2 cans of beans go in instead. Multiply that swap across millions of households, and the market shifts. Demand for canned beans keeps climbing. But supply isn't absorbing it easily. Metal costs are up. Fuel, labor, and transport costs keep climbing across the whole canned food industry. Here's why beans earn the spot. Half a cup delivers 7 to 8 grams of plant protein and close to 9 grams of fiber. Pair with rice, pasta, or potatoes, and you've got a filling, complete meal for a fraction of the cost of meat. Drain and rinse before using. Sodium drops fast. Add a few cans every trip. Use the oldest first. Number 6, canned tomatoes. Full shelves can be misleading. Retailers keep them looking abundant because it drives confidence, not because supply is steady. Here's what's actually happening. California grows most processing tomatoes used in American canned goods. The 2026 projected harvest sits at roughly 9.8 million tons. Down about 11% from last year. Contracted planting acreage has dropped to around 185,000 acres, the lowest in decades. The foundation is shrinking while steel, energy, and transport costs move the other way. The result? Canned tomato prices already rose 5 to 15%. That trend isn't expected to reverse. Promotions disappear first. The shelf price follows. Most people notice only after the window closes. Pasta, pizza, soup, stew, chili. One can often forms the entire base of a meal. Very few pantry items can claim that. Lycopene, vitamin C, antioxidants, and canning actually boosts lycopene absorption. Store away from sunlight. Don't stack too high. Number 5, canned tuna and mackerel. Pressure builds quietly in aisles nobody watches, until fresh protein starts feeling out of reach. As beef, pork, and chicken prices climb, more households shift toward canned fish as their main affordable protein. In the first quarter of 2026, US seafood prices rose about 3.89%. Not a crisis number, but a clear signal. The seafood chain is fragile. Fishing seasons vary. Fuel costs hit every vessel. Processing runs on thin margins. Shipping adds cost at every stage. Cans cost more too. Right now, a standard can still runs about $1.50 to $2.50. One of the cheapest proteins in the store. One can delivers 18 to 25 grams of protein. Mackerel carries serious omega-3s, well above what the price suggests. Check water versus oil, watch sodium, and once opened, move leftovers out of the can into a sealed container. 4 down, 4 to go. And what's coming next includes the protein families are quietly stockpiling before it disappears from the shelf entirely. If this is giving you a clearer picture of what's happening with food prices, a like genuinely helps. Now, 3 items left before the big one. And this next one used to be a weekend treat. Number 4, canned salmon. If tuna is the everyday choice, salmon quietly overdelivers for the price. It used to be a special weekend purchase. As fresh protein costs climb across virtually every category, it's become a genuine pantry staple instead of an occasional treat. A single can delivers real protein alongside omega-3s, vitamin D, and vitamin B12. Soft, easy to eat, zero prep required. For older adults especially, that combination matters. For anyone managing cooking fatigue, it's hard to beat. Here's the real concern. The salmon supply chain is complex and expensive. Wild catch volumes shift by season. Aquaculture faces rising feed and energy costs. Cold chain logistics run expensive across the board. And the can itself costs more to produce, just like everything else on this list. Canned salmon has historically stayed accessible compared to fresh salmon. That position may not hold much longer. Fewer promotions come first. Then the visible price increase follows. That gap is closing. Mix it into salad, layer it in a sandwich, serve it over rice, stir it into pasta, or combine it with mashed potatoes. Adapts to nearly any format without demanding much effort. Store cool and dry, away from sunlight. Rotate regularly. Number 3, canned sardines. The quietest aisle in the store. Everyone reaches for tuna or salmon first. That's actually the advantage. A typical can costs $1.50 to $2.50. For that price, close to 20 grams of complete protein, real omega-3 fatty acids, vitamin D, and because you eat the soft edible bones too, meaningful natural calcium. Very few products anywhere in the grocery store deliver that nutritional combination at that price. For older adults especially, that calcium content makes sardines nutritionally distinct from everything else on this list. Rice, bread, salad, pasta, simple vegetables. A complete protein-rich lunch in about 3 minutes. Check the packing: medium, oil, water, or tomato sauce. It changes flavor and calories. Lean toward lower sodium, and vary the flavors so you don't burn out on them. Here's what to watch. Sardines haven't seen the demand surge tuna and salmon have. Not yet. But as more households search for cheap protein, that corner of the shelf gets harder to overlook. When attention arrives, the price and the promotions won't hold. Number 2, canned chicken. Chicken is the most consumed protein in America. But here's what most shoppers don't know. A big portion of the chicken supply never reaches retail at all. It's already locked into contracts signed months ahead: fast food chains, school meal programs, hospitals, large-scale processors. Those buyers get their allocation first. Grocery customers typically feel supply tightness last, and often without much warning when it hits. A standard can provide 25 to 30 grams of lean protein depending on brand and size. No thawing, no prep, no planning required. Salad, sandwich, soup, pasta, fried rice, scrambled eggs, mixed with potatoes, folded into a sandwich or burrito. Broad enough it never feels repetitive. For anyone with an unpredictable schedule, the difference is simple. Fresh chicken spoils if life gets in the way. Canned chicken waits, no conditions attached. For older adults, high protein with zero prep effort makes this more than backup food. It's a practical daily tool. Watch the sodium. Refrigerate leftovers in a sealed container after opening. Rotate consistently, newest to the back, oldest to the front. 3 down. 1 item left. And it's not on this list because it's cheap or easy. It's here because of numbers most families haven't even heard yet, herd counts at levels not seen in over 60 years. Some numbers are easy to hear and hard to actually absorb. Here's one worth sitting with. America's total cattle herd has fallen to approximately 86.2 million head. The lowest level since 1951. The beef cow herd specifically has dropped to around 27.6 million head. The lowest since 1961. And the 2025 calf crop hit its lowest point since 1941. 3 separate metrics. 3 generational lows. All recorded at the same time. Here's why this is harder to reverse than most assume. Cattle supply doesn't respond quickly. When ranchers lose breeding stock, the effect doesn't show up at the store for 18 to 24 months. That's how long a calf takes to be born, raised, and reach market weight. The constraints recorded now will be felt at full intensity for years. There's no fast correction available. Even if every producer started rebuilding today, the impact moves through the system slowly. The grocery store feels the pressure throughout. The price signal is clear. As of early 2026, US beef prices have risen more than 12% versus the same period last year. With the herd at historic lows, and feed, labor, and transport costs staying elevated, prices aren't expected back to previous levels soon. That's the backdrop behind why canned beef, corned beef, roast beef, and canned beef chunks moved from afterthought to genuine priority. Think about a household relying on ground beef weekly. A year ago, it fit the budget without much thought. Today, it's creating real strain. Canned beef doesn't replace fresh beef everywhere. But it preserves access to a familiar protein at a price that's still manageable. The nutrition backs it up. A typical can delivers 18 to 25 grams of protein, plus iron, zinc, vitamin B12, and niacin, nutrients supporting muscle maintenance and sustained energy. For older adults who find fresh meat prep difficult, that profile is hard to match anywhere else on the shelf at a comparable price. It's versatile too. Serve over rice, stir into eggs, combine with potatoes, fold into a sandwich or burrito, add to pasta, or sauté with whatever vegetables are on hand. One more signal worth watching. When beef gets scarce at the production level, retailers consolidate. They prioritize best sellers and phase out slower items. For shoppers, that means fewer brands, fewer formats, less choice, and a higher price. Buying now, while variety exists, preserves options that may not last. When purchasing, inspect cans carefully. No deep dents, no rust, no bulging. Choose a size that fits your needs so nothing gets wasted. Keep it cool and stable. Most canned beef holds 2 to 5 years under proper conditions. Canned beef ranks number 1, not because it's cheapest or easiest. It ranks first because the herd numbers, the calf crop figures, the year-over-year price increases, and the recovery timeline all point the same direction, a trend not reversing on any schedule families have planned for. For a long time, canned food was the last resort, sitting quietly at the back of the cupboard. That's changing. Not because of panic. Because of math. When fresh meat costs more, when produce costs more, when running a household costs more, the can on the shelf stops looking like a backup plan. It starts looking like a decision made at the right time. The families doing this aren't doing anything dramatic. A few extra cans each trip, Older stock used first. Small, consistent choices while prices stay manageable. The shelf still looks full. That part is true. But what it took to grow it, and what it now costs to move it from farm to shelf, that's a very different story. Which item on this list are you planning to start keeping more of at home? Let me know in the comments. I'm genuinely curious what people are prioritizing. That completes all 4 parts. One note worth flagging as you build this out: several of the specific claims, like the 9 to 15% metal packaging cost figure or some of the pricing predictions, come from the source script itself rather than a verified source. Worth a quick fact check pass before publishing if accuracy matters to your audience.